Selling a property virtually. Hi, I'm Paul R. Atkinson, your real estate coach. Today I'm going to talk to you in this video about how to sell a property virtually. How do you get a buyer, the buyer's agent, and the seller in one meeting room virtually? Is that possible? Yes, it is, and you can do that. I'm going to show you how to put this thing together and how to do virtually selling a property. How to virtually sell a property. It is amazing when you use technology and put this all together and be very efficient in it. And not only that, but how you can feel comfortable doing that in today's real estate market. So before we get started, please hit that subscribe button. If you've not, we're going to wait for you. Let's wait. Okay, we'll give you a second. Great. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. So subscribe, stay with us. In the description of this video, you're going to find a lot of information about how to increase your business, how to create your self-awareness on doing virtual showing of properties, virtual staging of properties, just everything virtual. Not only that, but your sales skills. This is a time when you should be practicing and even becoming better at your sales skills. The 5 steps of the sale in the description of this video helps you to do that. So, how do we sell a property virtually? What comes to your mind? Here's what you need to know, okay? Let's get started in this video. First thing that should come to your mind is for you to know that you need to get ready, you need to get going now. This is the time for you to practice your skills and become very proficient in virtual meeting rooms. Getting a Zoom account or getting a Skype account. I think, Zoom is probably the best. But listen, I'm not here to tell you what is the best. I'm here to tell you, use something. You now need to have a virtual meeting room. So you have to practice. You need to invite your friends, your family, and just kind of practice of how to start the meeting, stop the meeting, share the screen, show a document. What if you're on a presentation with a seller and the seller says, "Oh, so have you ever done this before?" Be ready to be able to search on your computer real quickly and say, "Oh yeah, sure, just a moment. Let me show you a screen. Let me share my screen with you and show you this flyer that I've done for Mr. and Mrs. Jones just around the corner." You really need, and think about it. This is a time when you're going to be able to share your computer screen. What visual display and power. So you need to really practice and become very good at virtual presentations. So that's one of the things you need to do. Jump into it now. Don't wait. I know when I first started with the technology many years ago, I had anxiety. I went to the doctor. Doctor said that you have anxieties. I didn't want any pills or anything. He says, "Hey, try having a glass of red wine each evening." So I did that, but I also meditated. I also ran and exercised in the morning. In the evenings, when I'm a little bit anxious still, I'm like, I'm thinking, my mind cannot stop going. I go for a walk again. Getting in the bathtub and soaking. Glass of wine, relax. But you need to jump in. I know this technology can be very frightful, but you have to get used to it. You have to get used to it. This is the way of the future. Many things can come from this. Look at the benefits that we're having right now. As a real estate agent, you're able to present yourself virtually, sharing your screen, nice, crisp looking visualization for the presentation is amazing. I know we look good, but just imagine showing yourself, getting dressed, looking like this, and doing a listing presentation with a seller right behind the camera. Isn't that amazing? You've got to do it. So jump in it right now. Meet with the sellers virtually. So you want to meet with the sellers virtually. And in doing so, you are going to first, you want to invite them to meet. And remember, you're going to send them out some kind of marketing material. So you want to provide them with the ability to know all that you do. You are there to tell them how you can show your property, their property virtually, how you can sell their property virtually by letting the sellers see a demonstration of all that you're capable of doing. So you set up that meeting with the seller and say, hey, let's come in with a Zoom, one of my Zoom, or come on my video conference in and let me just kind of show you how things will look, how we can invite, even if, why don't we do this? Let me demonstrate to you multiple people on the platform. So I'm going to send you the link. Please give it to another person in the house, or if they're husband and wife or couples, you just tell them, okay, one person go in one room because it can echo if it's too close, and the other person go in the other room. And then look at how all three of us come together. Demonstrate, practice. They're going to feel so comfortable. This is like a great opportunity to show yourself. So let's go and meet with the sellers virtually and show them how you could do this. The other thing you want to do is get the virtual tour completed. So in selling this property, when you're meeting with the seller, and let's just back up a little bit, right? When you're meeting with that seller and you're demonstrating all of your smart agent marketing in today's market, you're showing them all that you can do. You're showing them all the techniques that you have virtually that will provide the social distancing, that will provide them with a safe environment, not only for themselves, but also for the buyers as well. So you're going to be able to show the property virtually. 95% of the selling portion of a virtual showing is going to become from an amazing virtual tour that you will do. You will get out there with your camera, and or you could hire someone, and they're going to go from the beginning, and they're going to go in an orderly fashion from the right, in my opinion, go from the right and just come right around and end up in the kitchen. That's the place where families most meet. So give a complete virtual tour. Open the cupboards, open everything. You show them how you can do this and give samples of videos that you've done before. So that's important to know. Now, as you move forward and you're still making this presentation and how to sell the property virtually to the seller, you also want to show them some of the things that they can expect. For example, you will let them know that when you get a showing request, you can provide the showing virtually. You can offer it to the buyer for safety. It doesn't mean that the buyer is never ever going to go into the property. Once the buyer gets a virtual tour, and I'm going to show you how to do this in just a second. Once the buyer gets that virtual tour from you, and you're able to show them how to get a narrowed down buyer. So let's say normally you have like 10 showings on the property. We're going to narrow it down to about 2 or 3 because we're going to do such an amazing virtual tour. So here's what the seller needs to know, and this is how you need to present it to the seller. We are going to do the virtual tours. Once I get the listing agreement signed by you, I'm going to come on over and I'm going to wear my mask and my gloves. And if you can take a drive around the block or wait in the backyard, it'll be fantastic. I'm going to come in with my camera or the person that I hire, and I'm going to do my virtual tour. I'm going to go around and I'm going to get a perfect ceiling. I'm going to go and get the floor, and you're going to take the camera and you're going to go down to the floor, show the tile, the floor, the carpet, whatever it is. You're going to show the ceiling. You're going to make it seem as if the buyer's eyes are with you. That is what you're going to need to do. And you're going to show the seller how you can do that. Here's a tip for you. When you do this listing presentation with the seller, practice in your own home. Practice in one room in your house and say, this is how the presentation is going to go. Show the steadiness of your hands. Show how proficient you are with making this virtual video. So once you do this, then you're going to also let the seller know that there will be a virtual showing by way of bringing the seller, the buyer, buyer's agent, and you into your virtual meeting room. Yes! Somebody calls you up, showtime, and they say, oh, we'd like to have a showing on this date. What are you going to do? You're going to take that date and time that they request, call the seller up. Hey, we've got a showing. It's virtual. They understand. It's virtual. Or listen, if they want to go out to the property, they can also do that. The seller could say, let them come. I'll be in the backyard, or I'll go for a ride, whatever the case is. But they have to wear their mask and they have to wear gloves, and please touch as little as possible. I'll open up the cupboards and so forth. So that's an option, but we're talking about a virtual system that can work right now. And let's get back to that. In the virtual system, you have a meeting room that you will bring virtually the seller, the buyer and the buyer's agent, and yourself. And here's what you do. You get the request for the showing, accept the day, the seller accepts it, it is fine. 5 minutes or 2 minutes. 2 minutes before the buyer and the buyer's agent arrive into the virtual meeting room, you will go ahead and then get on with the seller and just make them feel comfortable. They're not used to this, right? But they're going to be getting used to it. And so you would remind them, okay, try not to talk too much. This is a moment for the buyer. Let the buyer ask the questions. When you're answering the buyer's question, just be factual, be real, and to the point. Don't try to sell anyone. There's no selling here. Your property will sell itself. Just showcase it. And remind the seller that when they are showing on the camera, because they're going to have their own camera because it's a link up. So more than likely their cell phone. And they will be able to go very slow. Tell them, don't go like this. Don't move to jerk the camera. Need to go slow. Just think about it. It's an eye, right? And listen out. If the buyer says, oh, wait a second, can you go back to the left? Participate in that. Listen to the buyer's request. So that's important. But just think about it. Let me recap, guys. You're now going to create a virtual meeting room that you're going to send a link to the buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent is going to send it to his or her buyer, and you're all going to meet with the seller in the virtual meeting room. Isn't that interesting? Listen, we do it. It's a way of life. It's okay. We've been doing this for many years. Now, in a sense that there have been times over the past years that there are buyers that I've worked with, that our firm has worked with, that have come to the marketplace and they are out of the country. Yep. And we had to do like a FaceTime. What's the difference? There you go. And you have to know how to present it. So that's important. You set up the virtual showing for the buyer. Now, prepare the seller. We talked about that. Bring everybody together. And then finally, now here's some of the very important part that you need to know in selling a property virtually. You have to present the property in a very orderly fashion. And once you're done with that, and you've trained the seller and kind of partner up with the seller on how to use the camera and just work around it, participate with the buyer and the buyer's agent. They want to see, open the closet, show them the air conditioner system, and up and down, go, underneath open the cupboards, the refrigerator, all these things that they would like to know, give it to them. When you're done, then you're going to ask the seller to leave by asking the buyer, is this good for you? You have seen everything in the home. Now we'd just like to get some feedback from you. Is that okay? Yes, they said, okay, fine. And you say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thank you very much. Would you just go ahead and click leave, and I'll call you back with feedback. Now, this is a time when you, as the listing agent, is there with not the seller. You're getting feedback for the seller, the buyer and the buyer's agent. And you're just simply asking the powerful questions. Hey, Johnny, who's their listing agent, or Sarah, how was the showing? The buyer's right there. How was this for you? Were there anything that was missing? What do you feel about this home? Okay, wonderful. You like it. Okay, this is great. Is this something you'd like to make an offer today? We're asking XYZ price. Would you like to make an offer today? We can have your realtor provide you with electronic signature contract, and you could just send over the offer. Now, once you do, you will also have the right to cancel, to inspect and cancel. That's why wherever you are in this world, I don't know where you are, but in South Florida, you have the ability to use a contract that's called as is, with the right to inspect and cancel. So that gives the buyer an opportunity to actually physically inspect the property, get more information, and then move forward or not. Or they can talk to the seller and come to new terms. So this is an opportunity for the buyer, in this sense, to go out and see the property physically. But I tell you what, after what I've just described to you and getting that intimacy with the seller, the buyer's agent, and yourself, they're going to feel very comfortable. I'm telling you, they could drive by the property, look at it, and they had a virtual tour, a video tour of it. They're seeing the floor, the ceiling, they're seeing everything. Their heart is content. They're going to feel good. And they're going to feel good knowing that when it's time for them to do their inspections, they could wear their mask, they could wear their gloves, and go in with the inspector for 15 minutes and just walk the house themselves, and then leave the inspector to complete the inspection. That is a wonderful way on how to sell a property virtually. And finally, here's the final tip on this. After you're having that feedback with the buyer and the buyer's deciding to move forward, you simply just finish that, and then you can call your seller and say, hey, good news, we've got a contract. Here's the contract, the offer is coming. Or, good news, we have feedback, and here's the feedback. The buyers felt that the something was not presentable for them. They felt like they wanted to keep seeing more. Whatever it is, give the feedback. But this is how you sell a property virtually, by following all these things that I've just told you. So go back in this video, rewind, and as you're watching it, be sure to write these things down. Envision it in your mind, how it could flow, how this could be the new you. Listen, guys, we have a long way to go in this new real estate market that we have. You need to adjust and adapt now and adapt quickly. You could do it. So, in the description of this video, click on my links of how to work in this market, how to develop right now in this time your 5 steps of the sale, and how to learn about the conversation, curiosity, conviction, desire, and close. Those are the 5 steps of the sale. Learn that during this time and become very proficient at it. Learn how to do your virtual meetings, learn how to set up a meeting room virtually, and how to sell a property virtually. So until next time, this is Paul R. Atkinson, your real estate coach. It's always a pleasure. I'll see you real soon. Let's go get him, Tiger.